Right, so during lockdown or any time really, I'm going to show you a really good little exercise that you can do for batting. This is something that I did growing up. I was lucky enough to have a garage which had a bit of space, and my coach basically told me to do this, and I would spend hours and hours doing this just to sort of groove different shots. Now basically what we have here is you need a garage with a bit of space. I happen to have like a rafter here that I've got some string. It's basic sort of, you know, art and craft string really. I've doubled up on it just in case, and I've tied it to the rafter. I've then tied it to a sock. What I'd suggest is try and have the sock, don't tie it halfway down the sock and have half the sock sort of hanging down there, because it kind of that gets in the way. So just make sure it's out the way there. What I've put in the sock is I've put a ball in there. It's just a tennis ball, and I've put electrical tape around it just to make it a bit heavier. You can put a cricket ball in there if you've got one. It's up to you. If you have a cricket ball in there, obviously you have to be careful about sort of breaking anything, I suppose. So yeah, make sure you try and get it so that it's probably about, I don't know, 15-20 centimeters off the floor, okay, because that's where you're going to be driving the ball, okay, just after it's bounced. It's a half volley, it's just come up off the floor, and you're going to drive. Okay, I'm just going to show you some exercises you can do with it. Right, I would suggest always wear your gloves as much as possible, because your gloves are part of your bat. Okay, so the more you get used to that, the better. There's some exercises where you might not, where it's not suitable to wear gloves. Okay, right. So to start with, I just want to work through a couple of things. Just make sure there's two core principles for batting that I want you to work on, and that is number one. Establish yourself a well-balanced setup, okay? So just before the bowler's about to sort of turn around at the top of his mark and start running in, you want to get yourself set in a position which is, you know, provides you with a bit of stability. Now, if your feet are really close, being able to move forwards or backwards is going to be difficult. So you need to be in a position which is not just balanced, but it's also it provides you with the ability to kind of push forward or push back really quickly. Okay, so I tend to have I was just wider than shoulder width apart, my feet. I also tend to not be too closed off with my stance, okay, and not too open. Okay, so what I tend to do is I kind of open that one foot up just slightly, just so that I can actually just open up and the bat can come through and I don't catch the pad. Okay, so from there I've got my feet set up right. I'm happy with that. I then want to get my head in the optimal position. So I don't want my head there. I want my head nice and upright. Okay, even if I'm there, bum goes out, my head's still in the right position there, so I can see the ball from release all the way through. Okay, back lift comes up and I'm ready to go. Now generally what I would say is try and get your back lift up nice and straight, sort of almost sort of get it to, you know, over middle stump or off stump. Okay, if your bat does go out there, then just before you're about to bring the bat down, you want to try and actually then get the bat coming through straight. So somebody like Steve Smith, he's got a very unorthodox sort of setup, and but by the time it gets to playing the shot, his bat then comes down straight, okay, and it comes through. All right, so show you a couple of exercises to do. Progression 1, okay, so it's purely just the front foot drive, back lift up, get your base set nice and ready. Okay, you're going to get yourself in a position first, and then you're going to drive the ball. Okay, so you might have to sort of play around with it a little bit to sort of find the right position. So just get it so that you don't really have to move to start with. So progression 1 is you're not really moving too much. Okay, just get the hang of it, get yourself in the right position, make sure your head's in the right position, watch the ball all the way, okay, and try and get that ball. You want to get to the point where you get that ball going straight, so you hardly have to move. Full face of the bat is presented all the time, okay, and that's that one. So that's progression 1. Okay, progression 2 then is going to be, we're going to step into it. So we're going to put an actual stride in. So I go back a bit, and then what I'm looking to do is actually step in and drive. Come back, step in, drive. Okay, sometimes If your gloves are almost touching the string, that's the right thing, okay? Because if your gloves weren't touching the string, that means that you're hitting the ball too early. You want to hit the ball under your eyes, okay, as close to your body as possible. Okay, sometimes it does catch, just get it set up right. Okay, so step in. So progression 2 is I'm stepping into the drive. Okay, so you shouldn't really have to move your back foot much at all unless the ball goes left and right. Okay, full face of the bat, bringing the back down nice and straight. Okay, so that's progression 2. Right, progression 2. Now, progression 3 is just getting the feet moving a bit more. Okay, so you're going to move that back foot. You're going to move there. Hang on, let's get it coming through straight. Back foot. Take a couple of steps back, come back, and you're just sort of almost getting the feet, get on the balls of your feet, and then get that forward stride in. Okay, so you'll find that this will actually start getting a bit tiring for that front leg. So as you can see, I'm on the balls of my feet. Okay, so this is different to the one before, because the one before you were keeping that back foot still. Now I'm kind of moving that back foot. I'm just sort of jumping around a bit. It's a bit of just to sort of get your agility working. Okay, right, that's progression 3. Progression 4, what we're going to do now is we go single-handed. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll start with the top hand. Now the top hand, you've got, you might have to move your hand down the back because it might be a bit too heavy for you. Okay, if you're a bit stronger, the middle part of the grip. If you're even stronger, you can get it on the top part of the grip. Okay, and from there, just work from there. Okay, now for me, I'd probably go middle of the grip for now, until I've actually done this for a while. Okay, so all you're doing now is using the top hand. Okay, everything else is the same. Okay, you're just stepping into it and you're playing that shot. All right, so you'll probably feel quite quickly that your forearm starts burning. Okay, so coming in, try and get, if you get that ball coming straight back to you, it means that you've hit it straight. Okay, and it might take a little while for you to get used to that. If you look at this, the bat should be coming down through straight. I don't know, I'm going to have a look at the video afterwards. Okay, my back lift is going up nice and straight, my head is in the right position, and there we go. That's progression 4. Progression 5. Okay, we now have, well, I say progression, they're just different exercises to do really. Now you just got the bottom hand. Now a lot of coaches might say that it's all about the top hand, but for me, the bottom hand, as long as it controls where the ball goes, you can grip it as hard as you want. You can play with that bottom hand. It gives you more power. Batsmen nowadays are using it more and more and more. Okay, it's a bit old school to say it's all about the top hand and that dominates. Really, I think they work together nicely. If you can get that bottom hand coming through and the bat nice and straight, okay, and use that bottom hand with a bit of power, you're going to get so many more runs. Okay, so this is a good way of practicing it. Now, when you're using the bottom hand for this exercise, what tends to happen is, if I come a bit closer, as the bat comes down through, if you tighten up a lot, this happens. So the bat face closes. So with this one, it's really difficult, and you'll see what I mean. As the bat comes down through, okay, you want to strike the ball, and now I'm having to sort of keep my arm almost externally rotated, okay, to keep the full face of the bat, and then go through. So I kind of almost end up in that kind of position with my forearm. Okay, so it's a bit unnatural. The natural thing to do is to close it off and do that. But you need to try and keep the full face of the bat, play that check drive. Okay, so here we go. Starting off, again, try and move into it still. Okay, with that front foot. And here, you want to keep that and keep that bat face open. Okay, get your back lift up, bring the bat face down, nice and open. Okay, so full face of the bat presented to the ball. Didn't watch it all the way. Okay. Okay, so this one's obviously a bit more challenging. Okay, for me, I'd need to do a bit of work on this one. Okay, now once you've done the top man and the bottom man on their own, you can then start going back to the two hands, and you'll find that all of a sudden now everything feels so much easier. Okay, right, so that's all the front foot stuff. Okay, back foot, what we have, you've got to make sure that you've got enough space. So this is exercise 6 now, I think. Bit of space for this one. What you want to do is start there and move back to play the shot. What I would suggest to do is you want the ball round about, because you definitely want it above knee height. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to fold this the sock over a bit, so that now we have the ball's going to be a bit higher. Okay, I wouldn't do it too tight because you don't want it permanently like that. The ball's higher off the floor now, so it should be nice and easy for me to get the ball where I want it to go. So I want to play, it's a back foot drive, straight again. Okay, I'm going to come back. Okay, and again the back comes down through straight. Okay, it's now hitting the garage door now, but that's fine because it's a tennis ball. It'll make a bit more noise. Start where the ball is, hit it, and then you're going to go back. Go forward, come back. Go forward, push back. Go forward, push back. You have to make sure you're taking that back foot stride. Bring the back coming down through nice and straight. Make sure you go forward, get back. So this should be quite tiring, fellas. Okay, it shouldn't be just standing here. Okay? And this is for any level. Any level. I should add that I might even carry on doing this throughout lockdown for my benefit, because I'll be playing, hopefully playing this season. Okay, that's the back foot drive. Okay, I'll keep it as simple as that for now. I think it's a long enough video. Plenty of things for you to be getting on with. I might post now. I will post some more videos soon of plenty of different exercises we can do for batting, fielding, and bowling. Maybe even a bit of wicket keeping. But